There are currently 130,000 U.S. veterans in the United States that are legally blind, and 1 million plus vets with low vision, and every single one is facing challenges every day. But we're here to help. This is Wisdom Tech Talk. Thanks for joining us with a live studio audience coming to you from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Our passion is to talk about new and old technology that may help blind or vision impaired people in their day-to-day life. Let's do it. This is Wisdom Tech Talk, and this is your host, Benjamin Keeley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Wisdom for the Blind Geek Club. Tonight we got a great speaker who's going to be talking about everything about the ZI. Oh, is it CI or ZI? No, it's AI. I'm sorry. Shawn, how you doing, buddy?
And I had to be muted for you to introduce me. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your program and what you want to talk about tonight, please?
Sure. So that's, who am I? I mean, that's a question I ask myself every day. And really, my life kind of got interesting about 3 years ago after I had a stroke. And yeah, I mean, that sounds crazy to say, but I had a stroke in January of 2021, and part of my, I guess my recovery is that I'd get on the computer and start playing with this AI stuff, and right around November of 2022, Chat GPT came out, and everybody jumped on that and was getting all excited about it, and I didn't even know what it was. I think I went and tried it. I think somebody had told me you could translate something with it, and I might have used it to translate something. I was like, huh, that's neat. And it's just one of those things I started kind of messing with and learning more about and reading about. And that's kind of been my thing in life is technology. I mean, I got a computer when I was 10 years old, and I've kind of progressed through DOS and Windows and blindness technology. And now I'm kind of at this place where, we're using computers to see for us and to speak for us and write for us and all this stuff. And it's just like a whole new world. And so, I started the first 50 years of my life as a technology trainer for blind folks, going around and teaching people to use VoiceOver and iPhones and JAWS and things like that. And so I guess about a year and a half ago, I got this idea to start a podcast, and it wasn't about AI originally. It was called We Speak Live. And so I started a podcast, and with the podcast, I started a Facebook group. And originally, the Facebook group was just kind of like a community I was trying to build around my podcast. Well, now that community is up over 8,100 people, and the podcast is over 15,000 listens, and that's all in about a year and a half. And what I do is I have a Facebook community, a Facebook group called AI for the Blind, and people can join and learn how to prompt or write with AI, how to create things, and kind of get the lowdown, kind of the scoop of what artificial intelligence is and how it works. So.
The 411.
Yeah, I like that. I'll remember that. Yeah, that's it.
Well, very cool. So, you and I met last year at the ACB convention, right?
Yeah. We were, in fact, a friend of ours, Carmen, a lady we were just talking about, worked for another manufacturer, and I was going from the NFB convention in Orlando to ACB in Jacksonville, and Carmen, through a friend of a friend, was kind of like, I can give this guy a ride, and glad she did. I got to meet you and her, and made some good friends out of it.
It was a great ride.
Yep.
So tell us some of the things that our listeners should know about AI.
So, and it can kind of depend on what you're trying to do with it. But at its most simplest form, AI is just a really smart computer that's trained on statistics. So it's not trained on specifically anything in particular, but it starts with language. And so artificial intelligence is computers that can understand language. And you could take that a step further because you have what are called vision models. And a vision model is just a computer that can see, a computer that can describe things and look at a room and go and say, hey, that's a couch and that's a bed. And that's helpful for blind guys like me because I can just take a picture at random. And I have a lot of questions. And I can take a picture and ask the AI questions about my surroundings, and that's a game changer right there. I got to my hotel last night, and one of the first things I always do is start taking pictures of my room so I can find where the thermostat is. And I've kind of taken this AI technology using some of the tools that are out there for us, like Be My Eyes and Ira, and those AI tools for descriptions. And I used it to learn how to use this thermostat here in my room last night.
And when you take that picture, you upload it into ChatGPT or?
So I'm using Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes is a free app that anybody can download. It's really easy. You just go download the Be My Eyes app, install it, go through the setup process. And once you're in there, Be My Eyes is an app that came out in 2015, and originally what it was for is Be My Eyes is called a visual interpreter, and a visual interpreter is someone that interprets visual content and describes or translates it for a blind person. And so Be My Eyes started out in that realm. They have over 500,000 volunteers and something like 8 million blind people on Be My Eyes. And so a blind person can launch the app now either on their phone, either iPhone or Android phone, or on their Meta Ray-Ban glasses. I'm sure we'll talk about them later. And then take a picture and through the app get a description of your surroundings. It doesn't stop there. You can describe your surroundings. You can share your photo album to it and get a detailed description of things around you. So at the most basic level, go download Be My Eyes, get the app, get it set up, and start using the app. It's really handy, just even to use it just for the interpreter service, just to connect to a live person. That live person can see through your camera on your phone, so they're able to help you. So once you connect to a person, they can see everything that's happening through your phone camera, and so that's really how Be My Eyes started. But last year, or I think it was around 2023, August of 2023, they introduced this new feature called Be My AI. And it's just what it sounds like. They figured out a way to connect one of these vision models to the app, so anybody anywhere can take a picture of anything and use a computer to describe it. And all you're doing is literally launching an app, double tapping a button on the screen that says "Take Picture," and then it takes the picture and it'll come back and give you a somewhat basic description. It might say you're in a hotel room with beige walls and there's some photos on the walls and there's a TV and describe things. And from that point on, you have the ability to ask questions. So once you take your picture of your hotel room or wherever you're at and you can ask questions like describe the TV or describe the pictures or what's in that suitcase that's open on the bed, or something like that. And and you can continue to do that. You ask one question, continue on and on and on, and you can really get some really interesting details about how things are. So at the most simplest version, the apps that most of us use anyway, it started with Be My Eyes. Now it's with you can get the AI features through Seeing AI and Ira and Envision and oh gosh, it seems like everybody once a week now is adding AI to their app now.
And Meta Glasses has it.
Yeah. So let me introduce your audience. Have you all talked about Meta Glasses before? Is this?
We had a demo, but go ahead and add to it.
Yeah. So the Meta Glasses are they're a set of sunglasses that are kind of different because they have cameras on them, they have speakers on them, and you can get them anywhere. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at your Lens Craft store. You can get these Meta Glasses about anywhere. And what they are is they're these sunglasses that have cameras on them, and what they were made for is people that get on WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram so they can take pictures of their kids and their cats and dogs and everything. And luckily for us, you're able to use AI and ask questions, take pictures of your surroundings, or ask your random question of the AI, and get a spoken response right there on your glasses. You simply you even ask your glasses. You say, "Hey Meta," and the glasses will make this tone, and then you ask them. You might say something like, "Hey, look and tell me what's in front of me," and it'll take a picture and describe in real time what's in front of you. And it's cool. These are $300 glasses, and they're kind of specialized, and there's some things that are not made for, like they don't read well. People have been able to get them to read, but it's not as accurate. And I would be really careful with the results you get. I'm not sure I would trust that, but
the OCR part of it is a little weak right now, but I think they're working on it.
Yeah, and that's something that'll improve over time. There's another word you'll hear from time to time in the AI circles, and that is hallucination. And a hallucination is when a computer gets it's when it gets a bad image. If it gets an image of something and it's pretty smart. Most of these image models are trained on something like 14 billion with a B images. So, there's a lot of content they're trained on to recognize. But every once in a while, you'll send in a picture and it gets it completely wrong. Like I took a picture in my backyard of my garage, and it came back and said there was a doorway leading up to a staircase leading up to a doorway. And I kept asking questions, trying to figure out why I would think that was, looked like steps or a set of steps or something. And I finally figured out that it was the wood siding on the side of the garage, and it was interpreting that as steps. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So hallucination, everybody makes out a big deal, like it's this big thing. It's a computer making a mistake and getting an image wrong, and it happens. And this AI stuff is neat and is fun, is as cool as it is. You still have to use it with a bit of common sense. So sometimes take what it says with a grain of salt. It told me it was a big old mountain range in my backyard, and I live in Texas, and I know that ain't right.
So, what other tools do you use besides Meta Glasses and Envision and stuff like that?
And kind of like I said earlier, it seems like every week, one of the assistive technology companies is adding AI to their devices. And I recently just finished up working with a company called Envision Technologies, and they make a product called the Envision glasses, and I think you have some of those, don't you, Ben?
I have
Yeah.
some of the Meta glasses, both.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. And that's the real thing here is that these are two devices that were made for two entirely different groups of people. So the Meta glasses that I mentioned were basically made for people in social media, and it wasn't made for blind people. And the Envision glasses were made for blind people. And you can take a device like the Envision glasses, and it's going to speak. All the menus are going to speak. All the features of the device are going to speak. I mean, that's the purpose of the device, to allow a blind person to have a device that's fully accessible. And I can use the Meta glasses. And don't get me wrong, they're a neat tool. All these things are tools. Be My Eyes is a tool. Ira is a tool, and a lot of these services are adding AI to there. So some of the things that I've been checking out lately, and some of the things I'm really excited about using is like the WeWalk cane. I don't know if you've seen that yet. It's a blind. Yeah, it's a blind cane. It's cool. I mean, it's got a computer built into the handle. I mean, you can ask GPS questions. There's a whole lot you can do with WeWalk, through having AI essentially, in the palm of your hand. And I don't have the WeWalk. I've seen it. I'm very impressed with what they've done. There's a lot of other companies doing some interesting things. This morning, I got to see this device called the NOAA, which is a new device for mobility.
Had no idea about that, but pretty cool.
Yeah, and I mean, these are all things that are being perfected with AI per se. And I mean, with what I use now on a day by day basis is the Meta glasses, the Envision glasses. I'm a Braille display user. I use a Braille display. It's like a Braille keyboard.
Which one do you use?
I just got an old one. It's called a Vario Ultra, but I have several. I have a Humanware Brilliant I think it's BIX40 or something like that. And that's a really so I have a couple of different devices, but I like them all.
Hi, Shawn.
Hello.
Hi, my name is David. I'm here in Florida. So I have a question for you. A good friend of mine gave me his Meta glasses because he wasn't using them currently. So
I want to.
I'm never gonna give them back. So, how do you use your AI? I'm also totally blind. So, how do you use in your everyday walk? I understand you using the thermostat in your hotel room. That makes a lot of sense. But how do you use it in your everyday mobility or getting around a store? Or you live in Texas, you live in a big city. Like, how do you use it on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Because there, and it's funny because when I got them, I was still an Envision employee, so I basically had two different glasses that did the same thing. But so I had to spend some time trying to figure out what was the big difference here, and like what would you use this for? Meta, funny enough, I probably use it for more non-AI things than AI. I've kind of gotten used to all AI stuff, and I'm just like, come on, y'all can't do the same thing. But I'll wear my Meta glasses, and I'll just be sitting there typing an email, and then I'll forget how to spell particular or something, and I'll say, hey Meta, spell particular, or ask about the weather, the temperature in Fort Lauderdale, or it's like 25 degrees in Texas right now, so y'all are lucky. But the Meta is really cool for just talking on. I mean, you can connect them to your phone and make a phone call and talk to anybody just right there on your glasses. It sounds good. I think they have decent microphones on them. There are It depends. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a pretty big city, and me and my wife, we're both blind. We utilize a lot of services more than we do. Like, we don't go to the grocery store. We just order everything from Walmart. Do the online deliveries. But all of these, all of the, like the WeWalk cane, the Noah I mentioned, any of these devices that have AI, I guess what is interesting is you can kind of, almost, even if you're wearing glasses versus a cane, you can kind of almost use the same kind of actions, if I can put it that way. Like if you have AI on your cane, then you have a gateway to an artificial intelligence computer. So if you download the Be My Eyes app, everybody's talking about, I'm spending $20 a month on OpenAI or something like this. Well, I mean, that's free AI service right there. So, there's some benefits and does that help?
Yeah,
David?
yeah. I just
Okay.
yeah, it does. I just curious to know, like, obviously AI is like the big thing. So
Yeah,
and I'm a terrible speller, so I
me
use
too.
the I use Siri a lot for how do you spell this? And I've tried with the meta glasses, how do you spell it? So I understand all that. I was just trying to get in my head how the AI part of it really works. So yeah.
I almost like to hear from people, almost hear how people are using AI. I was telling some folks earlier today, or I think it was last night, about how this lady in Louisiana was making roux, and roux is some kind of, I believe it goes in soups or you put it in gumbo, and it's some kind of flour mixture, and one of the things about cooking roux is it's got to be a particular color. That'd be hard for a blind person to, get that right. Well, this lady was using Be My AI to make sure she got a roux to the particular color, so it was correct. I was like, that's creative, and that's kind of the thing here is when people come up with new ideas. So there's a guy up in Missouri that uses AI to decipher weather maps. I never knew there was blind storm chasers, but I guess there are.
So that's very
Cool.
cool. Hey, so some of the other tools you talked about, can you explain a little bit of what they do?
Yeah. So let me kind of go through these one by one, because you got the apps, and really the apps are if you're new to this AI realm, you just want to learn about it, and really download Be My Eyes and ask it to give you a basic tutorial on AI prompting. I mean, that's a question you can ask Be My Eyes. You can go in there and say, explain dissimilar physics to me, or you can literally ask it anything. But everybody's got their own integration. Everybody's got their own development or programming or however they do it. So Be My Eyes is your first free option. Ira Access is your second free option. Seeing AI is an app that's free. Trying to think. Envision AI, you can download. All of these apps kind of do everything a little bit different, how they show it to the user, how they present everything.
Can you explain a little bit about Ira?
You broke up a little bit.
Can you go over a little bit of what Ira does?
Yeah. Because I talked about Be My Eyes being this visual interpreter, and Ira was, like, I guess the first, think of the first paid visual interpreter. So as I spoke earlier about Be My Eyes, that's a free service. They use volunteers, and that's good. I mean, there's a lot of things I can use volunteers for. Labeling the soap and shampoo and stuff in my hotel room, or going through like a receipt, or that's something kind of basic. I'd be okay with using a volunteer for that, but reading my bank statement, or anything financial, anything health related, anything privacy, not so much. But you have a solution. You have Ira, and Ira is it has both free and both paid options. When you connect to an IRA agent, an IRA agent's an actual employee of IRA. And the big difference here is just that privacy and security and all that. You have an agent that you're talking to that's bonded, and they're not going to run off and use your credit card. They're not going to steal from you or anything like that. So you kind of have a little bit more security, privacy using IRA, depending on what you're doing. And there's plenty of times where I use Be My Eyes to do things, and then use an IRA to use. So it all comes down to using a tool, how adding a tool to your library.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much for explaining that. Do we have any other questions?
We got 5 people in here. I know who 3 of them are.
David, any more questions? You always have questions.
Yeah, I'm old school blind. I'm back using the slate and stylus days.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
You go way back.
So
he didn't tell you he's 78 years old. So.
No, come on, man. So yeah, I love this technology. I think AI is like amazing stuff, and I think a lot of stuff that's designed for sighted people blind people have really benefited from it. And earlier you talked about interpreting language and speech and stuff. I saw and if you haven't seen this article, download Randy Travis, had that massive stroke where he couldn't speak, and they used AI, so he's back singing now using AI and his vocal cords and his ranges and stuff. It's just incredible what it can do. So yeah, it's definitely the future.
I've been really hooked on this thing lately, the AI music. You can go download an app. There's an app called and I'll warn you, these apps are not these aren't the best examples of blind programming or accessibility or any of that, because they're not designed for us in mind, but they do work somewhat. And so you can download Suno, Suno AI is the name of the app, and you can say, make me a song about Randy Travis, or maybe a rap song about Randy Travis, and it'll make it, and it won't sound like Randy Travis. It'll sound professional quality. And so I don't know if you've been, but I actually did make a little demo promo song for this meeting tonight, and I sent it in with my bio. So you'll have to check that out.
Cool, definitely.
Well, that's very cool, interesting stuff. What do you see in the future, and how do you attract people to your Facebook account?
Well, the Facebook is doing this right here. So on Facebook, we're called AI for the Blind, and we're a Facebook group of all kinds of people. They're not just techies, not just professionals. I mean, there's everyday average users and end users and teachers and all kinds of people in there. And the whole idea is just to learn, about AI and how it works. So, we have people that, they'll post their music, they'll post links to the songs they make, they'll post their pictures and describe them. And at first you might think, oh man, you got a whole lot of people doing that. It might get overwhelming, and it probably does, but it also inspires people. Once people see their friends and people they know using this tech, and it becomes, oh, I can do that too. And that's the whole idea, is that you can do this no matter your education level. You're not too dumb to use AI. You're not too uneducated to use AI or anything like that. Anybody can use it because it can adapt to you. You can talk to it the same way you talk to me or anyone, and it'll adapt to you. So that, right? I mean, AI for the Blind on Facebook. Somebody spoke?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So AI for the Blind on Facebook is almost like a commercial. you go join that group. It kind of gives you a portal to everything else. Because I mentioned earlier, I have a podcast, and the podcast originally was called We Speak. And at some point, when I realized this AI stuff was starting to work, I renamed it to AI for the Blind. So you can search for AI for the Blind on podcasts or on Facebook. We have a group of about 10 people that are working on new ideas, and we want to expand to other platforms. And but blind people are different. We don't the social media apps that blind people use are not the same apps that sighted people use. There's not a lot of blind people on Instagram. There might be a lot of like influencers and those types of people on Instagram that are blind, but average users, no, because Instagram's a very visual, very picture-oriented platform. So not every platform makes sense for us to be on, but we're trying to get to as many places as we can. We're building a website that will be a like portal to learning how to use AI. So that is a kind of an exhaustive subject, because I'm always welcoming people to help me expand this. And I forgot what your second question was.
I have another question, Shawn.
Yeah, go ahead.
So have you tried, I understand you can take a picture and you can ask AI questions.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you did like a panoramic type picture, look left, take a picture, look center, take a picture, look right, take a picture, and do like a panoramic view? Would you be able to ask questions on that panoramic view?
Yeah, in a sense, yes. So here's what I did using the IRA Access, the IRA app. If you download the IRA Explorer app and sign up for a free account, you can get access to their AI and try this out. So me and my wife are looking for a new apartment, and we've been going and checking out all these places. And I'd walk in a room and take a picture with Be My Eyes. I'd explore the room myself and then use Be My AI to describe it visually. And then I got this idea that wouldn't that be neat if I could take 3 or 4 pictures, or multiple pictures, and you can do this. So like with Be My AI, you can take a picture of one part of the room and ask a question like, I'm looking for my socks, something like that. And then go ahead and take another picture from another part of the room, and don't ask a question, just send it. And it will basically assume that you want the same answer as, you want it to check and see if it sees the socks in the new picture. So that's one thing you can do. But another thing you can do is with IRA, you can upload more than one picture at a time. So I went in there and uploaded 10, because I took 10 pictures of the apartment we were looking at. And then I told the AI to describe the apartment using all of the pictures together. And it does. I mean, it wrote me a big description starting from the front door, and it was like a narrated story.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So your mind, your brain, your experience level is your only limit. Is trying to figure out ways that you can use this.
Neat.
Very cool.
It would be really cool to use that on a ship, Ben. We gotta try that.
Well, maybe we will.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to be on there when that happens.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, maybe I can come teach some AI courses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
AI at sea. We're losing.
We're dropping people. So the signal is very choppy tonight for some reason. So
yeah, Lisa.
Lisa and Ben dropped out for a minute, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be curious to do, because Ben and I we do a lot of cruising, so it would be really cool to use it on the ship to describe, because that's one of the things about the ship is getting from bar to bar or restaurant to restaurant or whatever.
You're speaking to the choir.
Yeah. So
Me and my wife are both blind, and we took a cruise by ourselves, and we tried to use Ira on the ship, and that didn't work out too well because the Wi-Fi was so crummy. But we made it work. We pulled our resources and put our heads together and made it work.
Well, Shawn, you know that Wisdom for the Blind, who sponsors this show right here, does a yearly cruise, and October 19th, we're taking another group of people to the Bermudas, and we'd love to see you on board.
I heard something about that, so I hope we can talk more about that. I definitely want to.
Yeah, we have 25 different classes. We have keynote speaker. This year's keynote speaker is Jack Chin, who works for Meta, and he's totally blind. He's a second lawyer for them.
Wow. Yeah.
Went to Harvard.
I could do some AI courses if you're interested in that.
Yeah. So we'd love to you and your wife to join us. It's a great time. We had almost 100 people last year, and it was just fabulous.
I bet the other cruisers get an eyeful.
Yeah, see a bunch of blind teens.
Bunch of rowdy blind people going around. Yeah.
It's kind of like MSD convention in Orlando.
Yeah, because those conventions shows to the hotel that doesn't know. They say it's fun to people watch. Why people's eyes get really big when they come to the hotel going, what?
Yeah. But anyway,
the nice thing about the cruise.
Go ahead, Dave.
The nice thing about the cruise we did last year was how many people came up to us and said, I have an uncle, or I have a cousin, or I have a friend who's blind, and they want to ask questions. So it's not only about us, and this as a blind person. They think blind people all over the world. So,
right.
It's good to spread the information and the education. That's what Wisdom's all about, spreading the knowledge around. So it's really fun.
Yeah. I was at an event one time, and I just done doing a demo for a bunch of people in a coffee shop, and the lady next door came over from the next table over, and was like, my mother has macular, and you're right. I mean, you just never know. You never know who's around.
Yeah, Dave and I went on. We do fishing trips also. We got 2 fishing trips coming up. One in Clearwater on May 2nd, and another one out of Fort Lauderdale on May 8th. But last year, Dave and I were having dinner at the hotel, and we met a good husband and wife, and they're very much involved in the organization now. And matter of fact, the wife is the chairman of our board. So.
That's awesome. That's great.
Well, if there's no more questions, we're going to wrap it up. Anything else that you want to share with us?
Join my group. Come learn more about AI at AI for the Blind. Come see what you can make. I mean, that's what I always tell people. Is if you're not used AI for anything, ask it the one thing you've always wanted to ask somebody or ask it the one question nobody's ever been able to answer for you. And I don't know what it'll tell you, but you'll be amazed.
Well, any more guests want to speak and have a comment? Well, Shawn, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us at Wisdom for the Blind Geek Club, monthly webinar that we host with different technologies. So I appreciate you joining us. Good talking with you again. And I'd like to pick your brain about how you got 8,000 people on your Facebook account. So.
Well, let's talk, man. Let's see what we can do for Wisdom for the Blind.
Sounds good. Well, we'll touch
Thanks,
base.
man. Thank you all.
Everybody, thanks for joining us. Remember, if you liked all these webinars that we host and all our book clubs and all our podcasts, please go to Wisdom for the Blind and donate to help things run smoothly. Don't forget, we have on October 19th, the 2025 cruise on board the Carnival. Carnival. Help me, Dave. Right, thank you. It's one of the first Carnival ships that was converted for ADA standards. And then our 2 fishing trips out of Clearwater on the Double Eagle on May 2nd, and the one out of Fort Lauderdale on May 8th. We'd love to see you there. It's a great time to meet other people and great bonding. So if you're interested in any of those, you can go to the website, w4tb.org, and get all the information. Thanks again, and hope to see you at the next event.
You've been listening to Wisdom Tech Talk, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with an in-studio audience at the Wisdom for the Blind Studios. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And if you know someone who's blind or vision impaired, tell them about the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit the website at www.w4bv.org. And we'll see you next time on Wisdom Tech Talk.